Okay, good morning, everyone. Good morning. So right now, we're gonna start, we're gonna be presenting. My name is Willie Games, and I'm one of the counselors from Fresno City College Dream Center. And when we're gonna be presenting as well.
Hi, everyone.
Brittany.
I'm Brittany Waters from Trio SSS.
So first of all, I'm gonna present, and then later on, we're gonna move on to her presentation. If you have any questions about all the things that I'm going through, feel free to stop at any time. Same thing with the ones online. Just feel free to unmute yourself or put it on the chat, and then we'll go. So today's presentation is gonna be about how you can. It's gonna be more to bring awareness about undocumented students and how you can support in the services that we provide at the Dream Center, the DAPA student population. So I'm gonna start with the video.
I was about maybe 5 or 6 years old when I crossed here. I remember we took a bus from Tijuana and it dropped us off at this very tall grassy area, and that is where we met our coyote. And we just started walking through the grass. We kept going and going for miles and miles. Within the second day, we were halfway through our trail. My mom's hands and feet got really, really swollen and she could no longer walk. So she decided we were just gonna give up and we were just gonna go back home. One guy stopped in his white truck, I remember. He asked my mom if we had ID, and my mom didn't understand what he was saying, so she just said, yes, we do. She just said yes, and he was like, okay, come on. And on the last checkpoint, because when we got to it, the immigration guys just looked around the truck and they never asked us for ID. They just let us go through. As soon as we came into San Diego, we started seeing all these beautiful houses everywhere that we had never seen before. And that's when my mom said, this is it. I think we made it. My name is Jacqueline Garcia. I am 21 years old and I am currently attending Fresno City College. It usually takes about 30 to 40 minutes to get to school. And then I still have to walk a good 10 minutes just to get to my class. Getting DACA was a little bit hard. It definitely has helped me throughout life. And I'm very grateful, but I am a little terrified about the decision that we're going to be having coming up with the Supreme Court. Whenever I'm feeling down or I have any question that I have, I just go into the Dream Center and they answer all my questions and they try their hardest to help me.
The Dream Center offers services to our students, everything from counseling to emotional support, as far as for all students who are undocumented or come from families who are from mixed status. Just like today, I came in and I let them know that I'm very sick and I've been dealing with it for the past 2 years, and I couldn't find anybody to direct me to the right place to get help. I just came in and she got me an appointment, and I might just be getting the specialist I need. I would say the number one goal for our students is that they just want an education. They want a job, they want to pay their taxes, they want a house, they want a car. I mean, I think they just want the American dream. Who knows, I could have been dead by now if I was still there. I'm a first generation, and yes, I am definitely grateful for the sacrifices my mom has done to give me a better life. I'm doing all of this for my family. I'm doing all of this because I want to give back to them. I want to break this stigma of being poor, of being uneducated. And I know that if I continue working hard, pushing every day, not letting the sickness push me back, but make me stronger. I know that I will accomplish everything.
So you can tell, let's take a minute to think about it. This is the type of population that we help at the Dream Center. And this is only one story of one of our dreams that they go through. That's all the sacrifices, all the things they have to go through to come to the United States for the American dream. That's let me share Put it up. Like this. Okay, here we go. Okay, like I told you, this presentation is about more how can we advocate for that kind of stuff. As you can tell, she was brought to the United States by her mom. Jacqueline, her mom, and then they were becoming a dream. She was brave enough to share her story. So that way we can understand a little more of the things that they go through and how see education as the way they can get a better life and things like that. So at the same time, Diana will let you know of all the services that we provide to them. One of the things I want to tell you is that the Dream Center is not a program, it's a service. What I mean by a service is that any dreamer, any student, any undocumented student can just come to the Dream Center and get our services, okay? They don't have any minimum eligibility to get to go to the Dream Center or anything like that. So anyway, so. Okay. I have a question for all of you. Okay, and the same thing for the one online. What do you think are some of the challenges and barriers that dreamers face in the United States? Being invisible. Employment. That's correct.
Feel like they don't qualify for anything.
They don't qualify for anything.
First generation college students.
First generation college student, of course, because they just barely came to the United States.
Constant fear.
Constant fear. Someone said over here, fear.
Fear.
Fear. Okay, fear. Let's see. Yeah, all those challenges they do face them. I do have a list of over here for first of all, language. They lack a lack of self-advocacy. Desperate for a voice, better involvement. A lot of them, like you say, it goes back to fear because they feel that when they come over here, they just want to be hidden. They don't want to actually come out. They feel like if something happens, they're gonna be otherwise deported or many things like that. You see, basic fear. Can we move that? Let me see. Fear, some of the things, because what it costs them that fear, that they don't want to apply for financial aid or scholarships. They feel like, oh no, I don't want to apply for that because I don't want to give my information. Technically, they don't want to apply for any information. They try to do everything. So if they have the financial barrier already, and by not applying for help, so it becomes the barrier, it becomes even bigger. Okay, so also a lot of them, they do not know that they qualify for financial aid. They do not know that they can apply for the Dream Act. They do not know that there's scholarship for them. And it's something that we work on the center to bring them awareness. And also the staff and the faculty like you will try to bring you this awareness that yes, they can apply. There are some regulations and of course, so in that way they can get some help in coming to college. Okay. Financial needs. Unfortunately, our students, they do not qualify for any federal grants or money or assistance. Okay, so they only qualify for state. So by that, their financial aid is very limited. They do not qualify for any traffic grants, Pell grants, or things like that. They only qualify for the Cal Grant B, student fee waivers, all the grants that are state funded. Okay. So the Dream Act, the financial aid that they get is only enough, only to cover tuition fees and textbooks. Anything else they have to pay out of their pocket. Okay, and like transportation and things like that. For example, I'm gonna give you some numbers. Okay, for example, a FAFSA student gets around between $8,000 to $12,000 per year. A student who applies for the Dream Act, they get between $1,600 to $3,000 a year, and the ones who qualify, they must meet the qualifications for it. Okay, first generation. One of the barriers that they cause them being a first generation is that they do not have the information. Why? Because them and their parents, they recently came to the United States. They don't know that they can come to college. And a lot of them, the main purpose is because they come over here to work and for a better life. That's how they see it. Many of the times, education is not on their mind. Their mind is, you know what, let me go ahead and get a job and let's make money, buy a house or things like that. But education is not in their mind, in their parents' mind or the student's mind because they don't have the proper documentation that they can come to school or college. Okay. The lack of opportunity. So like someone saying a job, they become invisible because they don't, even though if they are getting opportunities, we get them all the time. A student who gets an opportunity, but they cannot take those opportunities because they don't have a social security, or they don't have a work permit, or they don't have a way to take advantage of those opportunities. Okay. And then of course the immigration status, okay, which is cause them to live in, many of them to live in fear, to live hidden, to be invisible, they know if they do something bad, if they get in trouble, it's gonna end up in deportation. Many of them, they don't get a second chance. That's if they get one time for one reason or another, for any traffic stop, if they get arrested, most likely they have a big chance to be deported for just because of that. Okay, and belonging. We always hear this, that on belonging, so they feel that they don't belong to college, that undervalued. They're like, I cannot go to college. That's not for, college is not meant for students, for undocumented students. Okay. So isolated. So it's very common to see the dreamers to be kind of to get isolated, not to get the sense of belonging, not to join clubs, not to be part of the college activities. And then when they're in classes, the most of the time you get to see them more like in the corner, more like doing their work and things like that. And they isolate themselves because why? That's how they were raised by their parents. Okay, with that fear, that's one of the consequences. And as another consequence is that they feel different, which at the end of the day, they're just students like anyone else. Okay, an advice that I want to give to every one of you when you see a dreamer, especially if they come up to you and tell you, no, I'm undocumented, I don't have a work permit or social security. Just keep treating them as a regular student. Okay, it's very easy to call them, oh, okay, he's a dreamer, oh, he's an undocumented student. Just call him a regular student, like anyone else that you say. And so, you know what, let's see what services you have, and you can always refer them to the Dream Center, and that's one way that we can help them out. And that's a way that you can help them out and start advocating for them to know the services that they can apply for, and that there is a place where they can get help. Okay. Okay, these are some assumptions for the dreamers that we have for the undocumented students. Assuming that all students are undocumented or DACA. Okay, to tell you the truth, we have all kinds of dreamers. Okay, we have dreamers who have a U visa, T visa, asylum. Technically, any student who were not born in California is considered a dreamer as long as they qualify for the AB 540 legislation, which is that they came to the California school for 3 years and they graduated from high school in education base. Okay, those are our dreamers here. We have some students who came from 1st to 12, and then somehow they did 12 years here in California. They graduated here in California, and then they moved to Texas. And then 10 years later, they come back. And because they haven't lived over a year and a day in California, they're citizens. Okay, they were born, they come back to California. And then that way, those citizens, because of that, they qualify for the AB 540. So they become a dreamer for a year and a day. Even so we do have some citizens who are dreamers as well. Okay, so for students to be a dreamer, it has to have 3 years of school here in California and have graduated from a high school here in California. Okay. Oh, this is a big one. Students with an accent or who do not speak English. Okay, we do hear a lot of that one. Okay. Oh, that one has an accent. Oh, he must be a dreamer. He must be undocumented. He must be that one. Okay. We do have a lot of students who were born here. Somehow they moved to the country they moved to the country they were the parents they were born or things like that, and then they come back once they're 18 because they want to continue their education in here. And as a USA citizen, they have all the rights to come over here as any other student. Okay, So the DreamAct students, that's a very wrongful term to use for a dreamer or for a student. Okay. The DreamAct student, the DreamAct is a legislation over there in Washington, which has been sitting since 2001. And here in California, the DreamAct is an application for financial aid. Okay, so it's another one. Oh, this is a really big one. Utilize the illegal work for dreamers, okay? Illegal is a word that it was made up in here. It's not a correct word. It's offensive. It's not a right way to stereotype the dreamers. The proper way, if you want to come this way, is undocumented, okay? Because they don't have the proper documents, okay? Another one is assuming undocumented students don't work because they don't have a social security number or work permit. Okay, let me get that. Most of the dreamers, they work in very hard jobs. Though a lot of them, they work in the places like the fields, constructions, very physical jobs and things like that. And it's very, we don't hardly see in other, let's call it good jobs. All jobs are good, but let's say jobs where we normally tend that we feel like we don't see them. Why? Because a lot of the time, because of the lack of social security or work permit, it not allows them to work in there. Okay, another one. Assuming the students are criminals. Okay, that's another big one. Okay, we're always hearing the news. Oh no, yeah, they're criminals just because why? Because they cross the border or because they did that or things like that. Okay, the border, it was just a line. And then starting that line, it was been crossing forever. We've been migrating since the Native American came to the United States, okay? And so it's something that they did it right there. However, a lot of those students, they've been over here, they haven't done anything in their whole life, and then they've been here all their life, and they have never done anything to be considered criminals, okay? Another one, undocumented people take our jobs. So it's another big one that we hear all the time. So, okay. Undocumented students or people, they really have a lack of opportunities in getting jobs. Many of the times they get their jobs by working hard and by earning that opportunity or by working that way to earn a job like everyone else. You know, we end up working because of our skills and because we're learning them and that's how we go, okay? Okay, and undocumented students are a burden to the nation's economy. That's a very wrong term too as well, because first of all, undocumented people, they do not qualify for any, like, remember one day, they do not qualify for any federal programs, they do not qualify for cash, for food stamps, they do not qualify for any welfare, they do not qualify for any benefits of the source, okay? So they have to make a living out of their own job, whatever job they can find. Okay, if you have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself or sorry. Is it working?
There you go, yeah.
Okay, that's it. Okay, I just when I advocate for Dreamer students, I want to let you know. So then the way to advocate is by supporting legislation to our students. For example, DACA has been a really good one, a really very political action all this time. So in 2017, it was taken away from our for new applicants who qualify for that program. So in many of those young kids, a lot of them, they do not know they're even undocumented until they turn 18. When they asking for the first time for the Social Security, a lot of them, they don't even speak Spanish. Okay. We brought to this country people. Okay, so I want to let you know that many undocumented people, this is some of the reasons that they come to the United States, okay? Because they experience hunger, violence, injustice, and many other hardships gives them the desire to work hard. And so all these issues, that's all the things that makes them to come over here to migrate for a better life to the United States. Okay, let me see. So, how do you advocate for dreamers? Okay, how to make a difference? Okay, like I tell you, look for policies in the school, get familiar with them, and things like that, or programs where they can use here at Fresno City College. There's a really good link in the immigrantrising.org, which gives you all the information on laws that it helps dreamers. And then you can always reach out to organizations, community groups that can support undocumented immigrant youth and create a club that supports undocumented students. So technically, the best way, if you ever want to support students, things like that, is just to be knowledgeable and support any immigration or any legislations that is support for them and get out on board for all those as well. And a good way to learn as well is to reach out to the Dream Center, and we can give you all that information. To provide high courage. So, another way to advocate is to provide hope and encouragement, okay? Anyone here in the United States can come to school with papers or without papers, okay? You can tell them con papeles or sin papeles, you can come to college. There's multiple ways. There are many legislation that can help them out to come to college. The only, and they can get financial aid, like I told you, is limited, but there is a way for them to actually come to college and let them know that there's programs, there are services. For example, the Dream Center is something that we try to look for all those, and we're always getting updated with all those legislations and the way we can help. Okay. And like I previously mentioned, drop the I word. Like I told you, instead of that word, you can use that undocumented word, things like that. Okay. So then, like I mentioned, to advocate for scholarships, anytime that you can advocate for scholarships. Scholarship, they have multiple scholarships, and they do qualify here in the state of California. One of the services that we have at the Dream Center is a support. We have the paid internships, where we help students. They volunteer 100 hours per month in a nonprofit organization. In that 100 hours per month, they get a $2,000 scholarships for help and things like that. So they get a $2,000, and that one is a continuous scholarship. So they do have to be hired by the agency. However, it's a way that they can help, and because and they get paid through a scholarship, and they have to meet the scholarship requirement for that one. Identify. And then also, if you find scholarships, if you read like a scholarship, we always cross to a scholarship or read, or they get sent to us. If you look into it, try to identify words like, okay, they're for citizen only, or anyone can apply, or AB 540 can apply, or Dreamers can apply. So that way you can always forward them. If you know any student, you can always forward it to them, those scholarships. Okay, and just be open-minded, okay? Undocumented youths are all Latinos or Spanish speakers, or enrolled. It has to be in ESL classes. Okay, so just be open-minded. We have all kinds of undocumented students. Okay, I have students from Europe, from Africa, from South America, from Brazil, from anywhere. Okay, believe it or not, we have all kinds of students who are dreamers, who are from all over the world. Okay. Keep getting there.
I know it's so.
Keep continuing and support legislation is very important to get out and vote and help and that way legislation that is going to help the students. Okay, thank you. So I just gonna go really quick on the services that we provide at the Dream Centers. We focus on admissions and getting all the students, help them out come to college, bring them awareness of the things they have to meet in the requirements. So in that way they can come to college and get charged as an in-state students instead of out-of-state students. Okay. At the same time, we help with financial aid, and with financial aid, we help with the Dream Act and scholarships and pay internships. We're always looking for those three to help those students. And then academically, we do provide general counseling. Like if a student is going to general counseling, if you just come to the Dream Center. So we try to make it it's a safe place for the dreamers. So they know it's a safe place for us to go over there and get help. That's the main message that we send them. We help with that one. And then we also help them out with resources. Okay. And resources we do have a free immigration attorney for them and their families. And actually the free immigration attorney is for all the Fresno City College family. Okay. Not just the students, but it's housed right there. It's for faculty, staff, students, and anyone who wants to utilize their services. No cost to anyone. Okay, and many of the times they do the attorney, they know that they have to do a pre-screening on them to see if they qualify for any type of immigration status. Okay, to see if they qualify for a U visa, asylum, DACA, TPS. I mean, there's many visas that they're the ones who decide. And once they identify they qualify for one, then they do the whole process for them. Okay, we do also have all kinds of nonprofits or collaborate with all nonprofits organizations from the Central Valley, and depending on the students wants to. Let's say, for example, someone wants to work in a place or get some experience of working in an agency where it's based, like, let's say, for example, an agency that is a victim-based agency. So normally we refer them to Centro de la Familia or someone if they want to see if there's any type of health coverage for them. We send them where with the Centro Binacional, where they help them out to see if they qualify for any health benefits and things like that. Okay, and so those are some of the samples that I can just come up right now. So please visit our website if you want more information. Feel free to just give us a call. Feel free to stop at the Dream Center. We're located in the OAB 137. Okay, any questions about our students and the things that they go through?
I have a question about, I know that you're in the OAB and I know it's like centrally located inside the courtyard of OAB. Will you have a sign out again? I've seen it like a few semesters back, but will you have one again out there? Because I know I come across students that are asking where you're located and I'll walk them over.
Okay, well, it's something that we still have that sign in there, but actually it was more made when we were like down in that was in the student services building. So because it was kind of hidden, but right now it's like all open. We haven't used it, but we're located in the OEB 137, and our website is a really good place where you can refer them and let them know, oh, look, they're right here. They can even pull out the phone and find out information and just give us a call and we can schedule an appointment or talk to them and see which way we can help them out. And
I just wanted to, I agree with her completely. I think it helps that you have more signage on campus, visible signage. That way they know where to be directed, because a lot of the students here, they won't tell you what their backgrounds are. So I think the more that we just provide information as a general class, I think that would benefit these students. But when they see signage on campus, it makes it feel more easy to get to, because this building can be a little bit intimidating to find yours.
Say so. Yeah.
Okay, it's something that we have to bring up to our director, especially because when those signs, they are not free, so we have to go and eat the budget to make them. As you know, all those requires permissions, and we have, you know, especially if you've been here long enough, you know how it goes through all that. We require all those signatures before we get into that. But it's something that's really, I think it's really important as well. It's something that's gonna come up on our meetings at the Dream Center.
And do you have Dream Center like advocates out here on the college campus? So like maybe the butterfly, like a logo, so like, hey, if you need some help on campus in this division, you can look for the butterfly.
Yeah, we do have something. We do have I don't know if you've been here long enough, but every year we do have all kinds of events throughout the year in the Dream Center. And on the third week of October, we have the Undocumented Student Action Week. We have a training which is exclusively for the faculty and staff that is called UndocuAlly. UndocuAlly. If you do the training, they will definitely, one of the terms that we have with the presenter, which is Gavin Sina, one of the directors of Madera Center, is the one who did a whole research on it. Then she can email you, it's like a butterfly certificate saying it's UndocuAlly. That's something that all students know, that butterfly is that you are aware of, that you did the training and that you're aware about undocumented and you're aware of the services that are here for dreamers and students. But with that, so now I highly encourage you, if you, once you hear that one, in the third week of October, the Undocumented is one-on-one that we do, participate in that one, and that one it will give you that butterfly, that's for you to know that you did that training as well.
Is that just once a year? Is that just once a year?
The Undocumented, yeah, we do it in that week. We try to bring it over here to Flex Day as well, but because it's too long and it's too, and it's because it's outside of our for college, we haven't been able to get it approved yet. Okay, but we'll continue to look forward to have it here as well. Okay, and I know we got it because Undocumented is well, for the Undocumented Student Action Week, which is on October 3rd. We already know that's gonna be prepared, so we prepare the presenting and we prepare everything for that one to be in that week. But yeah, it's in the third week of October. Yeah, so it's that one. Normally we try to have it in hours that our work or well the staffing classified are available to attend to that one as well. Okay. I don't want to take too much time because I know. So if you don't have any other questions, any other last questions, Malasvini, because I don't want to take too much time of reading. It's Willie Games.
Thank you, Lily. All right, give me 1 second and we're going to transition to my PowerPoint. Good morning, everyone. My name is Brittany Waters and I'm new to Fresno City College. I've been here since August. I'm a baby to this college. I'm still learning where everything is so I can relate to our students. So sometimes I'm like, do you know where this is? They're like, no. I'm like, can we find it together? Because I don't know. So happy to be with you all this morning. I work with our TRIO program, which is a federally funded program. TRIO has a lot of different programs. So I'm a part of Student Support Services. You may have also heard of Upward Bound. Upward Bound services are high school students and gets them prepared for college. And they're at different campuses. So Fresno State has TRIO programs, Fresno City, there's Merced. And so, yeah, I love TRIO. I used to work at Fresno State with Ben, who is our director of TRIO. He's also the director of the Dream Center as well, and our Upward Bound program. And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what we do, who we are, and then we'll have some interaction just so we can hear a little bit more about what it is that we can do to support each other. We had a really great session the last session that we had of just really hearing from one another. What is it that we're hearing that our students need? How can we work together? And then how can TRIO SSS be of support to make sure that we're also supporting our students as well? Thank you, Willie. See, I'm like you. I'm like, I want to click this. This is Myra. I call her our glue. She's our budget tech, but she really holds our department together. We are small, but we are mighty. And I feel like that has a lot to do with her. She keeps us in check. And so we are located in student services right above the RAM pantry and right next where we share with psych services. So when you walk into psych services, we share the office with them, but we have students, student aides, but she may be the first person that you see, or our students may see when they walk into our department. Go ahead, Blue. There's two counselors, there's myself and Blue. Blue has been here for about 9 years. She was a student here as well. She's amazing. I'm learning a lot from her. She really loves our students. She knows her stuff. So even though we have our assigned caseload, we still see each other's students. And so if your students happen to be on our caseload, it's not if they walk in and I'm not there, Blue can help them as well. We help each other. And same goes with Ben, same goes with Myra. We're a team and we help all of our students. All right, and then there's me, the newest one. Go ahead. All right, so why TRIO SSS? So there are a lot of different programs on campus and we all operate somewhat the same, right? But different. Like Willie was saying with the Dream Center, there are certain services that they give a certain population of students. We have a certain population that we work with. So I'm not going to sit here today and tell you like, pick our program. This is why our program is the best. We all equally do the same thing, which is helping our students be successful. With TRIO SSS, we have one-on-one meetings. And I feel like that's one of our strongest suits is that we're able to develop relationships with students. And we're able to see them again and again and again. We try to aim for 2 contacts a semester, but it's more than that. And we help our students with everything and anything. So not just academic, it could be with their career. It could be family stuff where we're helping them just kind of navigate. Our goal is to make sure that they're successful and whatever their success looks like to them, we're helping them pursue it. And we're making sure that we remove all obstacles, roadblocks, all of the stuff that may prevent them, may hinder them, or they're like, you know what, I'm done. I'm good. I'll try next semester. This is just a little bit too much and overwhelming. And with that, we serve as a liaison and an advocate, and which it gets kind of muddy at times because we don't want to enable our students, but we also want to make them solution thinking, focus. We really want them to think critically. Sometimes they come to us with the blame game, right? Well, my professor did this or my professor did that. And it's like, wait, let's stop. Let's look for solutions and let's talk about communication, right? And not taking things personal. So we really tried to develop their communication skills, just their emotional intelligence. So that way, not only when they're in TRIO or Fresno City College, when they leave, they have those skills, right? And they're able to voice themselves and communicate in a way that's going to find them a solution. We offer scholarships up to $1,000. We do campus visits. We went to USC, and a lot of people were like, well, why USC? Our students are never going to go there. I wouldn't say that. We took probably about 20 students, and we had about like 5 that were like, okay, I see this, like maybe not my bachelor's, but maybe my master's. And so we also take them to Fresno State. We do Fresno Pacific and all of that, but we try to expose them to as much as possible for free. We do career and academic preparation. We help with resume building, job interviewing, all of the things. We have monthly workshops. We go over money management. We talked about how to budget for Christmas. We talk about study skills, time management. We even have drop-in sessions if you just need to vent. Like we try to meet with our students at least once a month. We support with various applications like transfer applications, financial aid, scholarships, other programs on campus. So just if a student's in SSS doesn't mean they can't be in another program. So we help them with really honestly all their needs. We do student educational plans. And we do that pretty frequently with our students to make sure that they're on track. And if something changes, then we can catch that change and then we can go from there. Honestly, we try to make sure that our students just receive as much resources as possible on campus, and being that person to connect them, even to the extent of like, hey, Ram Pantry's downstairs. Okay. And I'm like, let me just walk you. Like, I don't want to see you walk the other way. I'm going to walk you down there and we're going to go together. And the most popular thing is the priority registration. Our students love priority registration, and we help them with registering for their classes. A lot of our students still need help navigating, especially our system has changed to a new platform of how do I secure my classes? How do I make sure my schedule aligns? How do I make sure that I'm able to work and go to school? So all of those things we help with. Any questions so far? I talk really fast.
Are these services open to all students?
I'm going to get to eligibility and requirements. Go ahead. So the benefits of TRIO. So 17% of City College students persist past 4 years and graduate or transfer. The beautiful thing about TRIO is that it's really like I hate to use the word family because everyone's like, that's such a toxic word now. We're really like, we really are a family in a sense, especially if our students were in Upward Bound in high school. A lot of our students are in TRIO now, right? And so we've really developed that relationship. If it's not myself, if it's Ben or Blue, of like knowing the history and the dynamics of the student and already being able to help them with whatever roadblocks come in their way. So I feel like it allows them to focus on their education and their graduating. 70% of our students at Fresno City College persist past 4 years and graduate or transfer. Go ahead, Lily. Thank you. So eligibility and requirements. So there are 3 ways that you're eligible for TRIO. You're low income, and we have a income level threshold that we go over with students, or you're first generation student, which means both your parents do not have a bachelor's degree, or you have a disability. So it has to be one of the 3. It doesn't have to be all 3 of them. So sometimes we have students who may not meet the income threshold and they're not first generation, but in our conversation, there's talks of maybe there's a disability, right? There might be a little learning disability. That's when we connect with DSPS, have the conversation. If that in fact is true, then we admit them into the program. To be in the program, you have to be enrolled in 12 units per semester. You have to have attempted less than 60 units because we want to make sure that we see the student the entire way through. We don't want a student that's almost done. I mean, we'll help them still, but we want to make sure that we catch them in the very beginning. And then they're currently enrolled in a certificate program, like HVAC, maybe like rad tech, or they're wanting to transfer, or they're getting their associate's degree. So collectively, we help all students with pretty much whatever their goal is. Any questions so far? Yes.
I see that a lot of students were not carrying 12 units. Will they, is there any way that you'd be able to
Yes, we do have students that don't have 12 units. We try to make it a firm requirement because we don't like our students to get comfortable, but however, we understand, especially now with everything going on, that some students maybe just can only take one course. So we service about a total of 160 students, which is small. But we have probably more students than that are, we would call like prospective students or students who were referring to other programs. So we do have students who may not be in the program per se, that may be taking like one course. And then we'll work with them to say, okay, like, let's get through this one course. Next semester, let's try to add 2. Like, let's work our way up. And if we see some momentum and consistency, then we'll admit them into the program. But we ideally would like them to have 12, but right now, realistically, we understand. I mean, especially during extreme registration, I had a lot of students that I was just hoping that weren't in the program. They're like, all I can do is 1. Like, my mind can only take 1. That's it. So it's understandable. Yeah. This is where I stopped talking. We want to hear from you. So I did a poll everywhere activity that I'll pull up for us in a second. And I did it so that the folks online can participate with us as well. But I want to hear about what obstacles or roadblocks that you're hearing from your students or students you're encountering, and for us to have some dialogue around it. So give me 1 second. Thank you, Willie. This is so much smoother the second time around. Oh, there we go. Okay. So you can use the QR code or you can join by text. What obstacles or roadblocks are your students facing that is hindering their academic growth and success? So it's a word cloud. So once everyone starts putting in their one word, it's going to pop up. The thing that I love about word cloud is that it's going to make the most common themes very big, and you'll see in a second as it happens. I'm just going to check the chat to see if anyone has any questions.
So do you recommend we use one word?
Just one word. Yeah, one word. Sorry. Give it a couple more seconds. So you see how money became bigger out of every other word, means that it's a common theme. All right. Willie, this is probably where I'll need you to man the chat if anyone has any comments in the chat. Okay, so I like doing visuals like these because it speaks volumes of what our students are facing, and honestly, it mirrors my life. And probably many of our lives. And so I'm sure some of us can relate to our students, but you'll see that money and time are the biggest ones. One I didn't see in our first session though is instructions. That's a new one. Unclear obligations. Does anyone want to talk about the money?
My students seem to spend a lot of time worrying about nothing to help their families, trying to find, jobs anywhere, even McDonald's. I had a couple of meetings with that. They won't call me back, and it's just a constant source of stress for them.
Absolutely. I would say that if anyone else wants to add anything, go ahead.
I wrote the work school balance because it ties into money, and so oftentimes I'll get students who obviously need to prioritize work because that's how they're living. And so that causes a lot of workload and stress.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, with money, I'm also had added these unclear instructions. I think everything is about these instructions. You always have to find an application, you gotta fill something out, you have to find an office, there's no signage. Are you qualified, are you not? So there's so many things that students have to figure out and go to class regarding if they can afford it. So I think that's where it becomes very interesting.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. Go ahead.
There's one from the chat, putting work before class.
And with money, the cost of living right now too is money. Do I use the gas to go to school? Do I use it? Or do I spend it on milk? What am I doing?
Yeah, absolutely. So we deal with all of this in Trio. I feel that most of the time we're talking with students to prevent them from thinking that their only option is to just stop going to school. So to your point about the one class earlier, sometimes it is, okay, we're just gonna take one class right now so that you can work and focus on that, right? Money is the biggest one, especially to your point, the cost of living right now, and especially Fresno used to be a place where it was affordable, and we're now becoming a place that's no longer affordable, like the Bay Area and Southern California, right? And even with that, we sit down with students and they're saying like, well, what is the point of me even going to school? Because I'm looking at how much I'm going to be making from this profession, or I have to get my bachelor's, and then we're talking my master's. And then someone's like, well, you should get your doctorate because you'll be the first in your family. And I'm just trying to survive, right? And most of the time, it's not only them that they're taking care of, it may be siblings, it may be children, it may be parents. And so a lot of times we're sitting down and saying, okay, we know you gotta stick to school, right? What else, what could we do, right? Whether we're employing them in our office, whether we're helping them and connecting them to job fairs, where we're talking to employers and saying like, hey, this person needs a schedule that's going to accommodate their school schedule, right? That is what we do in Trio. Time, we help them manage their time. I mentioned earlier, we have a whole workshop on time management, where we're even talking down to like self-sabotage. Like, I mean, we have some real life conversations and I tell them, I'm a super transparent person. My life is a mess. I'm never gonna pretend like I have myself together. So we're gonna figure this out together, right? Like, how are we self-sabotaging? How can we manage our time better? We even talk about learning skills. Like, what type of learner are you? Are you a visual learner? Is it you hear? Do you have to write it down? Do you have to talk to somebody? So thank you for providing this, because we're always wanting to connect with others every chance we get to hear and say like, what are you hearing from our students, or what are you seeing from our students? So that way we can support as well. I hear you about the instructions. I mean, I'm with you. Every time it's like, okay, I gotta fill this out. I'm tired of filling something out. So that's with our students. So even down to our application, we try to make it as quick as possible. Everything that we do in Trio is like, how can we get somebody to do this without stopping and walking away? Because I know with me personally, I'm one incident away from saying like, you know, I'm done. I'm done. And we try to remove all of that from our students. And so, yes, we're focused on academics, but we know that all of this has to be addressed before we can get there. And like I was saying earlier, we have conversations with our students about, let's find solutions, right? Let's not play the blame game. Let's not take things personal. Let's figure out how we're going to navigate this together so that you can graduate, that you can transfer, that you can do exactly what you want. Another conversation that we have too is around family. Sometimes it's, well, my mom and dad want me to be a doctor, but I don't want to be a doctor. Okay, let's navigate. How do we have this conversation with your parents? Like, I'm not going to be there with you, but let's navigate what that looks like, because there's going to be some disappointment, but at the end of the day, you deserve to be happy. There's talks about mental health, right? Luckily, we're in the same building as psych services, so it's easy for me to walk over and say like, hey, so-and-so, can you connect with the student? They're having some issues. So thank you for that. One thing that we're gonna do next, if anyone doesn't have any questions, is we're gonna do another activity, and this will allow me to hold on to this for my coworker and I, to hear more of what is it that we could do to support our students. And then I also have a QR code where if you're interested in us doing classroom presentations, going over the application services, I have a sign up for that as well. Oh, putting work before class. Yeah, you had said that one. So give me 1 second. Any questions or thoughts as I'm pulling up the next activity? Oh, I didn't even have to get out of there. Yes.
I was connecting with something that happened yesterday at the convocation. Also, I'm brand new here. This is like day, I'm not even sure. I'm a math material. I work in I'm an instructor and coordinator with our internship development program now. But yesterday at convocation, there was some faculty had talked about like, well, the stress of like putting something out early for students. And there was some resistance, right, in terms of like, I'm not ready to do that, or they want to do that early. And so I've been doing student affairs work for almost 2 decades, and so I've seen this resistance a lot. But this idea that it matches with this kind of inability to find the information, right, or making it using for students, is that I think often some faculty don't think about all these other layers. And some staff don't either, but in terms of where you find financial aid and the SSS application, and if I don't qualify there, then I go to the Green Center, right? Like all those layers. So I'm wondering what education is being done to faculty and staff to support. And also, how can we support you in getting that education out to folks? Because to limit that resistance, right? So folks actually can realize that if we put a syllabus out early, it actually just removes one layer for the students to worry about something else. Yeah, I'm curious if there's any way to build on that or support that.
Yeah, I definitely will take that thought. I'm new too. I'm new to community college. I come from K through 12, but I absolutely agree. In our last session, we talked about how do we strengthen like wraparound services in a sense, like we all have all these programs and support on campus, but how do we streamline it in a way that makes it easier on our students for them to access the information instead of saying like, oh, we'll just go to this website or go to here or go here. How do we do that? Because ultimately, I feel like the way that we've been doing is physically saying like, okay, Lily, I'm going to physically like walk you over here and this person's going to be your other touch point. But yeah, it's definitely a challenge. Another thing we heard too from faculty was how much time they're spending going over simple, I don't even call it simple. I don't want to use that word simple, just very basic things that are important for students to know, checking emails, checking their platforms. What is a syllabus, right? How do I read the syllabus correctly? Those basic things, so that faculty can focus on the content that they're teaching. We heard that as well. Yeah, so this other activity is just how can we in our department support students? And I see someone said Canvas flyer. Any other thoughts?
So
It's okay.
my big thought is if the student should go to our website or be on campus, we should have a kiosk or on the website, this place where a student say, hi, I'm a student and I need help type thing. And it has like those questions. Are you low income based on, click here to see the rate? Are you a first generation? Are you disabled? Are you coming full time? Do you have less than 60 units? What program are you in? Or if they put their student ID, some of those things will be entered in there. Do you want help today? Or are you willing to accept some help today? And at the end, if they say yes, then it kind of links out to all the places that they qualify. And Trio SSS gets an email. So someone says, hey, let me go reach out to this student. As opposed to that student going, yes. Because that's what we've been doing. And it's not.
Ashley says that suggestion sounds great. I think so too. I think something to your point, or even if it like a self-service where there's maybe a person that's like, oh, you're done, you filled this out, like, this is what you qualify for, let me walk you over, because sometimes it's just as simple as that. Because sometimes our window of opportunity in Trio is like very small, right? And we're part-time. I mean, I only work 3 days a week, 21 hours. And so Willie could say like, hey, Brittany, I have this great student. They'd be great for your program. Okay, and then by the time I check my email, I'm contacting the student and the student already had a crisis and they're like, you know what? I'm good. I'm just gonna try again next semester. So to your point, something that eliminates that window where they're not saying, you know what, I'm gonna try again next semester.
Even if it's that person there is like a guarantee, they're gonna call you within
Right.
2 hours.
Right. Because that's another thing we're seeing with our students having crisis, right, or turmoil, or just a lot of just all these conflicting feelings that by the time I get to them, it's like, well, you didn't get to me fast enough.
That was Friday.
Right, it's Monday and I had to figure this all out by myself. I think that's a good idea. How we accomplish that, I don't know, but I'm the type of person where I'm solution focused. So if it doesn't work, something's not working, I'm going to continue to say, hey, this isn't working. How can we do this? Okay, can we at least try this? If we can't do it campus-wide, can we at least start with our program to do this and see if it works? So I think that's a great idea. Yeah. Any other thoughts?
Well, I have a question.
Yeah.
Could a student theoretically get services from Trio and like the Dream Center and EOPS
Yep.
and DSPS, like all of them at the same time?
Yep. And we have students who are DSPS that myself and the other counselor will communicate to say like, hey, like what's going on? Like, because there's gonna be students that aren't gonna really connect with me, right? I mean, and I'm new and we've had turnover in our department, to be transparent. So there's a lot of students who are like, here we go. You're the 5th person who's told me you're not going nowhere. And I'm like, look, I don't know what's gonna happen to me. God forbid, I don't know. I could be here today, not tomorrow. But what I do know is I'm going to help you, right? So we try to do a good job of saying like, hey, so-and-so in this department, like what's going on with this student? You've seen them more. How, like, you may not have the ability or the funding to do X, Y, and Z. How can we support? And I mean, that's the beauty of, I guess, how small our caseload is we're able to do that because we only have 80 students each that we serve. But yeah, we're not greedy. Like, we're not like, oh, you can only be with us. It's like, no, if so-and-so is offering like an internship, because we don't offer internships, like, let's sign you up for that program, or multiple scholarships. If we're offering a scholarship and they're offering a scholarship and they're offering a scholarship, yes, please sign up for all the things.
So are you also cross-trained with those other ones, the common ones that you have students that are the same with? Or you in the sense that, hey, I know that you would probably qualify for EOPS or whatnot.
Yeah.
And then likewise, yeah, I know you would possibly qualify for Trio.
Yeah.
So they kind of get that process going as well.
Yep. I'm not an expert, but to your point, I know enough to say like, hey, I think this program would be great for you. Let's apply online. Or when we go back to the advocacy part or liaison, it's as far as me even sending an email to say like, hey, I have so-and-so, I'm copying them on this email. This is their phone number. Like, can you get in contact them by the end of the week? As simple, yeah, as that. Yeah, it even comes down to like if they're failing a class and it's their 3rd attempt, right? Filling out that paperwork, all the paperwork and all the things we try to help support them to fill out. But yeah. Any other? Go ahead.
I'm new here as well. My name is Zach Schatz. I'm the budget tech for student equity. And I just thought it would be good to be here to kind of hear what some of the work is that's being done to help students, and then also hear some of the concerns or suggestions, if you will. And I wanted to know, like, is there a hub of some sort where students need support in general? They can go to this hub and then they get referred out to programs. There's no like system in place. Okay.
On Starfish, there is request support.
Okay.
So a student can go on to Starfish and request assistance if they're housing insecure, they're hungry, if they want. So I mean, it may not be. I mean, sometimes I think, like Don Lopez says that sometimes I would say you ask for so much information, you're not getting any of it. So I mean, it doesn't have every little.
Right.
But I mean,
It's a start.
Categorized, and this was done district-wide for all the district campuses as well. So somebody can say, I want help connecting, to an academic counselor, this type of, and then they do have people staffing this, and they will get that person connected.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's the hub here. I need technology.
Right, I mean, I would have to see what Starfish looks like and how all encompassing it is, but I know like when I was a student, for example, like. The one of the barriers, if you will, is like guidance, so lack of guidance, right? It's like, yes, I know there are these resources and. You know, if I am self-motivated, I can find these resources, but ultimately it's like, how do I get from point A to point B? Without exhausting all this energy, right, that I'm putting into work and my academics, you know, so.
And I think Fresno City College, I think, has a wealth of resources. And I think sometimes it can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like when we have Grant Ready,
Yeah,
you know, and that's an event used to be called Keys City a lot, 100 years ago. And so, but you know, for incoming, usually it's geared towards incoming freshmen, but back in the day, it used to be for anybody who was new to the campus. But we have a lot of wonderful resources, and they have been built. I'm not new to the campus, and it has just been, you know, built on over and over again. I mean, the ramp pantry used to be done behind the cafeteria on pallets. But so I mean, it's just wonderful. But sometimes that all these resources can be overwhelming. So you know, that's why I think it's important that we wear identifiers so students will say, hey, can you let me know what this is?
absolutely. And,
I think, I don't know why it's not mandated that we, especially if there's you know, an event, an emergency going on and students need to know.
And Starfish, I'm not sure how many students know that, I mean, I know they see Starfish in my portal, but I don't know if they realize what that's for either. Unless they, to request assistance or to speak with the council, because I find myself talking to them regularly and say, you know, you can make an appointment, you know, through Starfish, and it's like, oh, and I said, but I can do it for you, for sure, you know, and I will, but let me show you where it's at, just in case.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing, so we have, again, all these resources, and we have quite a few of them listed on our website, but this kind of lets a student, if we were to do it on the website, even if it's a person that's not a student, you possibly see that availability, but if they actually complete the application for the idea, then we can actually connect them instantly.
Yeah.
So for those possibly undocumented that are wanting to come to college, or just the first time students anyways, first gen students anyways, I think it would be so great to have that public, if you will.
I think eventually we'll make it welcome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that'd be-
I think the welcome center will definitely be kind of a hub, a physical hub as well.
So hopefully on the website, it'll be housed in the welcome center, possibly. But again, like I said, for the people that are not here physically on campus, and you guys, those are all online. For the most part. Not that huge opportunity.
Thank you. This is helpful. This is helpful. We're running out of time, so I wanted to offer an opportunity, which is completely optional, just an offering to you that are professors. If there's an opportunity for us to do a classroom presentation with your students, I provided a QR code where you can just fill it out really quickly, first name, last name, email, phone number, and then availability. We're more than happy to do a classroom presentation for 20-30 minutes, even spending time after class waiting to talk to students if they have any questions or anything like that. Any way that we can help. We're small, but we want to make sure that we can support where needed. And then the last slide is just our information, and the QR code just takes you to our website. So Blue, that's her email address. Then there's mine. And then where we're located, Student Center 216 above the bookstore, our phone number, and then the QR code will give you our website. Thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions, let me know. But other than that, I hope you all have a great weekend after a crazy busy week back. And thank you to everyone online.